Mitehe. Translation. But for your information of best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Sloka number 8. Bhavan Vismasya Karnasya Kripasya Samititjayah Ashwathama Vikarnasya Samadate Sataivachaha. Translation and purport given by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We covered until this sloka last week. I'll read this and then we will go to the next one. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwadhama, Vikarna, and the sons of Somadatta, called Bhurishwar, who are always victorious in the battle. Purport. Duryodhana mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is a brother of Duryodhana, Ashwadhama is the son of Dronacharya, and Samadhati or Vishwara is the son of king of Bahilikas. Karna is the half-brother of Arjuna. He was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. Sloka number 9. Anyecha Bahavasura Madartya Tyakta Devitaha Jnana Shastra Praharana Sarve Yuddha Visaradaha. Translation and purport. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their life for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. Purport. As far as the others are concerned, like Jayadrita, Kritavarma, and Salya, all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana was, of course, confident of his victory on account of the above mentioned combined strengths of his friend. This is a very important sloka. We concluded until sloka 8 last time, and today we're going to discuss from sloka 9. Omagyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadha Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Utapadakkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dheena Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyev Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vishnubhebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Kuroti Vachalam Pongam Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurundina Tarinam. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for joining the call today. So beautiful sloka from the Gita. I hope you all can hear me okay. Vinod Prabhu, you can hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
So, this is a very beautiful shloka and gives us the importance of how taking bad association is dreadful to one's spiritual life. Actually, people of this world do not take bad association just like that. It will not happen it is not like a switch, just like a turn, switch on the light, and then you'll see the light, and then you switch off the light, it will go off. Taking bad association is not like that. Taking bad association is a continuous process. That means slowly but eventually we will evolve into that situation or circumstances or any outcome which we have been kept in that format. So likewise, even taking good association, hearing from sadhu, hearing from or spiritual master, what happens is that is taking right association. So either the case, it is not a switch. Yes, there Shastra also says sadhu sangha sarva siddhu hai lava matru sadhu sangha sarva shrishti hoy. That is also there. But to understand that lava matra sadhu sangha, we require a lot of association. For example, uh, there is a dry grass and a wet grass. Dry grass is easy to catch. The fire can be caught very easily, quickly. The moment we add fire to it, a little spark of the fire, it gets ignited. But the same little spark, when it is kept for wet grass, it cannot be ignited. Why? Because wet grass is not congenial to be lit by the fire. It is the same spark, but the spark will not yield fire, rather it will yield smoke. See, smoke is one thing, smoke is not fire, right? So a sadhaka should come to the platform of dry grass. What is the dry grass? Unless and until we come to the platform of a dry grass, the fire cannot catch. So that Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha which we are discussing, that Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha is that association, is to transform one's consciousness from wet grass to dry grass. So when the consciousness is transformed from wet to grass, from wet grass to dry grass, then what happens? Then naturally the body or the facility or the circumstance is becoming what? Is becoming congenial to attract fire. And then it can be lit up. So likewise, here, a lot of people are taking the association of Duryodhana. But Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, they are heading to the lines of death. Because what kind of association is that? That is not good association. What is it? It is bad association. So, because this is a mentality of what? This is a mentality of a wet grass. For example, even though they understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they cannot perceive the truth. When truth cannot be perceived, then what happens? Then it is wet grass, right? So this is the situation. Karna, Vikarna, and few of the other people, Ashwadhama, and all these personalities, what are they doing? They're taking the association of what? Of Dronacharya. Who is this Dronacharya? Dronacharya is a personality who is ready to do anything in his life to get his kingdom back, which we generally see in this world. If we actually closely observe this world, that is how it is designed. How is it designed? It is designed in such a way that it is attracting the materialistic consciousness. It is attracting the materialistic thought process. It is pulling materialistic activities, right? So through that pulling, what happens? It is actually keeping us away from the Lord. See, wet grass is not just keeping away from the fire, but it is also losing its identity. For example, if a person gets that wet grass and then he's about to lit, he cannot lit it because it is not dry. He wanted to do one thing with that, but that is not possible with that. Because its state of consciousness, its state of seeing the things is different. Then what he has to do? He has to transform the dry grass into wet grass. From that wet grass into dry grass. How that would happen? He would dry that up for a longer period of time. It is a continuous process where where the farmer is trying to transform that wet grass into dry grass. He has to do some things, and then eventually the wet grass will become dry. Then he will use that in the process of yagi or whatever it is, whatever he wants to use in terms of fire. Then it is possible. Otherwise, until that point of time, it is not used for that. So likewise, the soul, where we are completely absorbed in this thought process of materialistic way of living, then what happens? The materialistic way of living, we hear Krishna Katha and we continue our actions, and along with that, we also continue to do materialistic activities. Then what happens? Then we are trying to see how that happiness, which is Krishna consciousness, which is perceived in the heart, how that happiness is not evolved because we have some materialistic thought process in the background. For example, I'll give another example to really understand of how people have taken to the side of Duryodhana and why. Karna, another example, which gives us a clear indication that this personality is taking the association of Duryodhana because he had enmity towards Pandavas. It's one of the primary reasons, right? He has what? He has enmity towards Pandavas. That is the reason why he has taken the side of Duryodhana. So likewise, people of this world, they take a lot of association. They take association through cell phone. We take association through TV, different means, different medias. What are we trying to do? We are trying to convey a message that, my dear Lord, I don't want you, I want this. Just like Karna conveyed a message to Pandavas indirectly. He's not conveying to the Pandavas directly that, hey, you know what, you shouldn't do this. He's not conveying like that. What is he trying to do? He's conveying a message in such a way that he's against Pandavas. How is he proving? By taking the side of Kauravas. So that is the whole point. Even while we continue reading Gita down the line in chapter 1, Arjuna tells Krishna, Senayor madhye radam sthapitam achyutah. Arjuna is specifically mentioning that, my dear Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, my dear friend, Achyuta. Achyuta means what? The one who doesn't fall down. He's telling Krishna, you please take me to the center of the battlefield. What is he telling? You take me to the center of the battlefield so that I can see the other side. Because he wants to assess who is on the other side. Right? Then he would realize that Karna is on the other side. See, there are two things, right, to convey a message. The first way of conveying a message is to tell him directly. That is one way. What is the other way of conveying a message? He's not providing the solution, but rather he's on the other side. See, the moment we know that the person is on the other side, we can perceive that, oh, he is fighting against me. For example, if the spiritual master tells, please come and hear the class. And then what happens? There are two ways to tell. The person, the disciple can tell, Prabhu, I'm not coming today to the class. That is one way of conveying the message. What is the other way of conveying the message? He did not put the message, but he's not present in the class itself. That is also another way of conveying the message, right? So likewise, here Karna did not convey the message to Pandavas. That doesn't mean that he's favorable to Pandavas. He's not. How do we know that he's not favorable? We know that he's not favorable because he's on the side of what? He's on the side of Kauravas. Very, very important, dear devotees. If we understand this is a very deep science. Krishna consciousness is a very, very dynamic and beautiful process which gives us an understanding of how things we are perceiving in this world. Karna is completely against Pandavas. But he's not doing the show there. Rather, he's doing the show by taking to the side of Kauravas. That itself is an indication that I'm against you. I want to fight against you. I want to show my superiority. I want to dominate you. Because he has what? He has enmity towards Pandavas. See, again, there are two ways to perceive a thing. Again, there are two ways to perceive one's consciousness. What are those two ways? The first way is to take up to the process diligently. That this process is given to me by my acharyas, by all wonderful personalities. Let me just take it. That is one way, right? Or for example, I will tell a simple way so that we all can understand this. For example, as a father is there, there's a child, right? So father has done so much to the child. So child naturally what he would do when father says something, my dear son, can you do this? Then son would immediately do it. That is one way of accepting. There is another way of doing also. What is that other way of doing? Father says, you don't do it. Father again says, you don't do it. But son is doing it. Out of what? Out of enmity towards the father. That is the second case which we are seeing here from Karna. And all the other personalities who has taken to the side of Duryodhana. See, dear devotees, every one of them knows the glories of the Pandavas. Every one of them. Every one of them knows who is Krishna. Everyone. Whoever is fighting for Duryodhana, they all know the position of Pandavas. They all know how great Pandavas are. They all know how pure devotees Pandavas are. They all know. They all know how deeply connected, how deep relationship they have with Krishna. They all know. But still they want to fight against them. Why? This is a mentality. What kind of mentality? These anarthas are driving them. Who are the ones which are driving them? The anarthas which are sitting in the heart. That is what it is driving. For example, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara, lust, greed, anger, envy, falsehood, and pride. What are all these? These are all the anarthas which are there in the heart. One anartha is enough to fight against dharma. One anartha, not six. One is enough. If somebody says, I will give you this dynasty, that is what? Calm. It's a desire. For example, Duryodhana would come to Karna and then say, hey Karna, if you fight this, then I will give this, Rajya or this kingdom to you. You can be the kingdom. You can be the king and rule. What is that? He gave that to him. And then he immediately accepted because he had enmity towards Pandavas. Right? So these are the driving forces in this world. What are these? What kind of driving force is this? This driving force is actually pulling one away from the process. Very, very important. See, to do an act, not just a good thing, not just a good desire, is not just good, is only the driving force. But there are so many other factors which are also the driving force. Just like we see here in the life of who? In the life of Kauravas. That is the reason, that is the whole point why Duryodhana is doing so many plans. For what? To get his kingdom. That is his motive. That is whole idea. See, our actions and activities are not just driven through good desires, but our actions or activities are mostly driven through unwanted desires. The problem is, even we do not know completely that these are all the unwanted desires which are pulling me away. Those are the desires, but we cannot understand or perceive that these are unwanted desires. Because as a sadhaka or as a soul or the practicing sadhaka, we don't see that. So likewise, it is very, very important. Taking right association, that is what we began our discussion today. Taking what kind of association? Right association, divine association. Hmm? Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi hoy, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shashti hoy. So that Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, what is it doing? Slowly, that Lavamatra, what happens? It transforms the consciousness and converts from wet grass to dry grass, where the dry grass is congenial to lit up the fire. Most important. Everyone is taking association in this world. Who doesn't take association? Do we think only devotees take association? No. Everyone takes association in this world. The people who drink, they also take association. The people who watch sports, they also take association. The people who watch cinema, they also take association. They also have friends. They also have groups. They also have get-togethers. They also have potlucks or whatever it is. They also have all these things. So the soul is a social animal. It is always, every moment taking association. Every moment. No matter we are here, there, it doesn't matter. No matter we are there in India, America, it doesn't matter. Every moment we are taking association. Every moment. Bharat Maharaj also took association. He took association of a deer. That is also association. But the result is another thing. Not talking about result here. We're talking about association. So every person is taking association. Some is taking association at the office because if I take this association, I will get money. Some works under a manager. Some becomes a manager. Some does one thing. Some does another thing. So every action, there's a reason for that. Every person is doing this. You see in this world, wherever you go to Walmart, everyone is taking association. That means if we know where we have to take association, dear devotees, excuse me, if we if we have to if we have to know if we know where we are taking association, one second. So if we know where we are taking association, that is what matters. That is a key. If we really want to progress in Krishna consciousness, we need to know where we need to take association. Association means what? Association means to get inspired, to get inspiration. See, that is the whole point of all this discussion which we are doing today. Duryodhana, Srila Prabhupada is clearly mentioning about these personalities. Of all of these persons who are taking association of Duryodhana, even they know who Duryodhana is. Even they know what is his intention is. Don't we know that Duryodhana is going against Dharma? Everyone knows. Then what happens? Then why are they taking this association? Because their motive and their intention is what? To get something out of it. That is also association. It might not be good. It might not be correct. But still they are taking that association. Very, very important. Because something is driving. If we closely observe our consciousness, there is some driving force which is pulling us. Here, what is the driving force for us? Our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. They are the driving force for us. Because they are telling us to do this. So that's why we are doing it. Right? That is the driving force for us. So likewise, every living entity has a driving force. But for all of them, who is the driving force? Themselves. That is the difference, dear devotees. Here, if we closely observe, Karna took the side of Duryodhana. Why? Because he wants to show enmity towards Pandavas. That is his desire. It's nothing else, nobody else. Even Duryodhana is fighting this war because he wants to win the battle. That is his desire, nothing else. Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yutsava. Mamaka Pandavaseva, Kim Kurvata Sanjaya. Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre. Dhritarashtra is also speaking here. He is also differentiating. What is he telling? My sons and the sons of Pandu. He's doing a differentiation here. Right? What kind of differentiation is this? This differentiation is showing what? Out of what? Out of attachment, which is called as what? Raga. See, he is also thinking about the battlefield. He is also thinking that my son should win. So what is the core desire behind it? That is to fulfill his consciousness. That is to fulfill his heart. So likewise, all these people, they're all fighting for what? Their own endeavor. That is the secret, dear devotees. The difference between a pure devotee and the conditioned soul is this. Conditioned soul does it for his pleasure. Pure devotee does it for whose pleasure? The pleasure of the Lord. For the pleasure of Krishna. For the pleasure of the spiritual master. Because that is his motive. That is his desire. Everyone has desire. As we just discussed, right? Everyone is taking association. Where we are taking association? For whose pleasure we are doing this? That is what matters. That is a secret actually. Secret in Krishna consciousness is this. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. The one who takes Sadhu Sangha, what happens? He gets everything. He gets what? Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shreshti Hoy. What does he get? He gets unlimited happiness, unlimited bliss. That is given to them. Because his motive and his desire is only to please the acharyas, nothing else. Very, very important, dear devotees. Even if we closely observe the life of Arjuna, he gives various questions, reasonings, logic, so many things. But after giving all of them, at the end, he surrendered to the Lord. And then Krishna spoke to him. So, until that point of time, his heart was not pacified actually. His heart was not in a stable condition, dear devotees. He was not accepting actually. But on the other side, even on the conditioned state, there is heart, right? Don't we think that conditioned soul has heart? It has heart. Don't we think that he has acceptance or rejections? He also has that. He also has that. Just like a pure devotee has that, conditioned soul also has that. He also has that acceptance and rejections. Then how is he doing this? His acceptance and rejectance is based on his desires. Again, I repeat. You need to understand this very diligently. The conditioned soul's acceptance and rejectance is also based on his own thought process and his own desires. And his thought process and desires are based on his desires. Just like Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra, their desire is what? to get the kingdom. They're not thinking whether Krishna will be happy if I get this kingdom. They're not thinking. That's why, likewise, all the people of this world, they earn, they do so many things. They go to restaurants, eat this, eat that. They go here, do this, do that. They watch movies, do this, do that. They earn money and buy big homes and then do this, do that. They are also doing. People of this world, they are also doing. But if we closely observe in all of those desires, there is no Krishna in it. It's pretty simple. Even at a sadhaka level, if we want to know or we want to understand whether I'm practicing devotional service or not, we need to check all these questions to us. Okay, I have this. For whose pleasure I'm doing this? Okay, I'm honoring Prasad. With what consciousness I'm eating? Okay, I'm reading book. What is the purpose of reading this book? Okay, I'm watching a movie. Why am I watching this? Okay, I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm taking association of this person. Why am I taking this association? We have to check all these questions. We need to ask all these questions to us. We need to ask. We need to ask our heart. Oh, Manasa, oh my mind, why are you taking this association? We need to tell. Oh mind, why are you doing this? Why are you seeing faults in them? Why are you blaspheming them? Why are you putting them down? Don't you see good in them? We need to ask our mind. We need to ask our mind. Mind would always tell, go this, do this. Intelligence will always tell, do this, do that. This is good for you. That is good for you. Just like Duryodhana, he was being told through his mind, through his intelligence, what he was being told. If I get this property, I'll be the most happiest person in this world. This is because that is his consciousness. That is what? That is his thought level. Because that thought level is not giving happiness to them. Right? So likewise, the people of this world also perceive so many things. But all those perceptions or perceiving is only to please their core heart. What is there in the heart? My pleasure. I am the doer. I'm the controller. I'm the maintainer. This is the whole difference. Remember, last week we had this discussion, right? What was the discussion? How taking right association and then having that balance in our life is the most important thing, right? If that right association and balance is not taken properly, then what happens? We will be bewildered in this world. Even though we are in the process, even though we are practicing Krishna consciousness, but when those principles are not applied under the guidance of a superior or a spiritual teacher, then what happens? Then it will keep us bewildered. It keeps us in a perplexed state, stating that, oh, what's going to happen to me? Or I have practiced so much. Krishna, you have given me only this. I did so much sadhana, you have given me only this. My spiritual master, I've done so much. You have given me only little. We will inquire, we will question them because the faith is disturbed. What is disturbed? Faith. We don't see the millions of lifetimes we've been through. We just see only this 10 seconds or 10, 15 seconds of time. Our life is like that, dear devotees. This 70 years or 8 years is only a fraction of time in this entire huge creation, humongous creations, which we have done so many other things, which is not congenial to the process. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defining so many problems, trails, situations, turbulences. All of them will not take us anywhere. They all put us in a state of perplexity. It will put us in a state of anxiety. So this anxiety is what keeps us taking another kind of association. As we began the discussion today, right? Taking what kind of association are we taking? For whose pleasure are we taking this association? Why are we taking this association? All of these questions does matters. Just like we discussed, right? Every person has asked, he has to ask these questions. That why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? This is called as what? Internal journey. Checking our heart. Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm going to the temple. What am I doing? What am I doing after coming here? Okay, if I chit chat with, oh, what is Trump doing now? What's gonna he do? What's gonna happen to our country? Then what's the point, right? And why did we go to the temple? That's not the idea, right, of going to the temple. See, that association we can take somewhere else also. Then what benefit are we getting after going to the temple? These are the questions we need to ask. So, with what mood and with what consciousness we are carrying, that is what we get. We do not get anything else. That is the output actually. That is what we are, that is what we desire. We desire for that. Because, see, I'll give another example. I'll give another example of association. For example, you have an exam, we have an exam in a month, and then we are not preparing, and then we are just postponing, stating that, oh, from tomorrow I will begin studying, and then tomorrow comes, and then mind will tell something else tomorrow. Mind will tell, oh, today, see, you have 28 days more. You can study. Don't worry. You have time. You relax today. That's okay. You can watch some TV today for some time and then be relaxed. Okay, that's been done. And then that's how we are postponing. Eventually, it's only 3 days. 27 days we did not study. And then now we have only 3 days. And then now we realize, Arey, yaar, I have to study more. I have to study a lot. There's so much to study. And then we start opening the books and then start reading, thinking that these 3 days will be good enough for me to get good grade in the exam. We were trying to take association for 27 days, which we did not. And then 3 days only we have taken that association of reading. Then what happens? Do we get good results? There's no hope, right? We don't know. And then for that result, again, you have to wait another month. And then after 1 month, what happened? Results came. Student worked for 3 days, but that was not enough. And he failed. It's natural. It's natural. So likewise, we might think that, okay, tomorrow I will practice, or day after tomorrow I'll practice, or I'll practice after 1 month, or I'll practice Krishna consciousness nicely after 2 months. See, I am only 40 now. 40 more years. I will stay until 80. Or I am only 60 now. 20 more years. We can say mind will tell, okay, every normal person in America, they live like 80 years, between 70 to 80. So I have 15 to 20 more years. I'm just only 60 or 65. I'm just 40. I have 40 more years to go. I have some time. I have everything. I have energy. Okay, Krishna told me, right? Anta kale chamamaya swaran mukta kalevan. Oh, okay, at the time of death, na. At the time of death, na, I will remember him. That's okay, na. Now I can do whatever I want to do. It's only during the death. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. See, whatever you remember at the time of death, that you'll get, na. So now I can do my own thing. Then what happens? The moment This is the way mind will trick us, dear devotees. We are not here to trying to put anyone down. The intention is this is what the mind will tell. If we closely observe our heart, this is what it will tell. That's okay. Surrender is too far. Surrender is for exalted devotees. Pure devotion is for exalted personalities. It's not for me. That's okay. Let me just relax. Let me just chant. Let me just do my own thing. What are these things? These are the thoughts which dwell in the heart. These are the ones which are actually troubling the sadhaka in the heart. Because sadhaka is always trying to practice. Because he would hear, I remember so many devotees telling, "Oh Prabhu, during the class it's good." When we hear it's good. We feel that yes, Krishna consciousness is the greatest thing. Yeah, amazing. Let's do this. And then after class, at class it goes like this. And after class it comes like this. It falls down again. It's like a sine wave, Prabhu. What to do? What kind of situation we've been kept in? It's like these are the waves. During the class, it says, "Oh, it's great." After class, it comes down. Why? Because we don't want to take this deep to our heart. Do not have the deep desire. We need to go to the Lord. My dear Lord, please give me this desire so that I can cultivate this consciousness more, and more, and practice this process of Krishna consciousness to the core of my heart. Please, Krishna, please give me this opportunity. I don't want to come again into this world. You please help me. I know my mind is voracious. It doesn't listen. Please help me. These are all the questions which we need to go and then ask the Lord. My dear Lord, please help. I really want to be sincere. Really want to surrender. Please help and move forward. So these are the thought process which we need to dwell in our heart. When we do this, then what happens? Naturally, we will understand, and through their mercy, we will come closer to the Lord. This is a science of Krishna consciousness, which I wanted to share today. Actually, our thought process is what driving everything. The truth which we received from our spiritual master is what is driving all of us. This truth has to be perceived closer to the heart more and more. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to practice. That's what we need to understand. Hare Krishna. So I wanted to open for any questions, concerns. It's very, very important. Association is the key. Dear devotees, association is the key for everything. If we have right association, under right guidance, having good relationships, developing that to the core of the heart, everything is perceived, everything is given to us as a gift. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for taking your time, such a nicely explaining. And I realize that when a speaker is on video, we should be on video because we can interact. Otherwise, speaker does not know is really people are listening or people are, because there's a lot of body language, you know. So I realize that, and I apology for not doing enough. But I see your passion, I see your interest, I see you take it very seriously and explaining us very nicely. But sometimes I like to interact while you explaining it. So that time, because you cannot remember everything because you go through so much thing and so much. So there is many things I learned from today. You are very correct because love मात्र जो है ना वो उसके लिए है जो ready है. Just like you said, the grass is ready, then you just lit and just goes. If I have a problem and I stuck somewhere and you just come, hey, why don't you do this way? I said, oh yeah. Because I was struggling, I was ready. And you just give me a little spark. And I say, oh, thank you, I solved the problem. So a person has to be ready for that thing. So that's very good. Also, like I've been going to temple here very long time, almost 40 years, right? But yeah, sometimes I had to think back, why I'm going. I'm spending 4 hours. Sometimes I admit, openly, I just 10, 15 minutes in front of maybe less, deities or, 4 hours, what did I do? Chit chat or maybe just prasadam or maybe just a little bit help there or what? So I need to think myself or maybe take your guidance, how much time I supposed to put, what I supposed to do there. Because in my 4 hours has to be really something right place, right value, for return. So if you have any advice, you please let me know.
Actually, what you brought up is an important aspect. Vinod Prabhu, see, life goes on, even if we practice Krishna consciousness or not, even if we follow four regulative principles or not, even if we eat Krishna Prasad or not, even if we surrender to the instructions of our spiritual master or not, life will go on. Because the moment we are born in this world, there is a date written for us that we will live for 70 years or 75 years. It's written there. It is through our actions and activities which we do in our life is what changing. Because I remember Srila Prabhupada writing, my spiritual master telling very beautifully that the Lavamatra Sadhusanga which we take, it is actually increasing our longevity. That means the time of half hour or 1 hour which we are discussing, nobody will. No, for example, if person has to live for 80 years and 1 day, and he heard for half an hour, then he will live for 80 years, 1 day, and half an hour. That time is given extra to him in his life. So naturally, a question will come. For example, let's say if the person is hearing all through his life, then what happens? Then that 80 year and 1 day, Krishna will take him away after that 80 year 1 day, and then he will give him permanent life to him. Permanent. So that Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, which we are discussing today, is the most important thing. Because that Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, what is it taking? It is hankering to take more Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha. It should be a continuous chain process. We took one Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, we take another Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha. When that Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha is multifolded million times, then that Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha no longer becomes Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, it will become eternal Sadhu Sangha. That is why Srila Prabhupada said, I am your ever well-wisher. That is the reason actually, because he wants all of us to come to that platform of eternally taking their association. See, Srila Prabhupada is there eternally with us. We will take his association. He is there in the spiritual world also. And any services which we do, it is coming through under his wing. in the spiritual world, because we are connected to the spiritual world through him. And even that connection, when it is refined more, then it comes through our spiritual master. So our spiritual master, we serve him eternally over there. So that's how the science of Krishna consciousness is a very practical science. The more we perceive this, the more we understand, the more we absorb, then naturally we tend to be in love with this process. See, preaching has to be done through love. Preaching has to be done through compassion. Preaching has to be done as a service to the spiritual master. Actually, that is preaching. And that comes through honesty in the heart. See, for example, I'll give another example. For example, if we are desiring something, Prabhu, let's say, you are desiring to have a grandchild, and that grandchild, as let's say, for example, you're practicing this process since last 40 years, let's say, and then you get this deep desire in your heart that let my son have a son, and your desire is also pure. What kind of desire is that? Your desire is let my son has a son, and that son becomes a good preacher. He might materially, and your desire is also like this. He might not have any material desires, but his desire is to serve Srila Prabhupada. His desire is to serve his disciples. That is your desire. This is very strong desire, right? It is not tinged with anything material. But still, Krishna gave your son a daughter. Then how do we take that? It's important, right? So we need to understand that our actions and activities, our desires, even though they are selfless, our right is to desire. Because he's our father, he will give me those things. The thing is, we desire them, but the results of that desire is in his hands. This we need to be convinced. So when we are convinced in this way, then what happens? No matter what position or what situation Krishna keeps us or gives us, or in which situation our spiritual master keeps us, we simply accept it as a blessing. When we accept this, every desire in our life, Prabhu, yes, we need to desire it. Devotee should desire spiritual. We need to have spiritual desire. What kind of heart is this if we do not have spiritual desires? Right? They say that we do not have material desires, but we should have spiritual desires. Right? Devotee says that we shouldn't have material life, but that means what? What is the reason? We need to have spiritual life. That is the whole idea, right? That is the whole idea of taking association. That is the whole idea of coming here. That is the whole idea of hearing. That is the whole idea of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. That is the whole idea. Here, the Lord is again and again explaining us that our desires have to be transformed from material to spirit. We cannot remain in. See, Prabhu, both cannot be done. We discussed this last week also. Material and spiritual, we cannot do both. A sadhaka either does spiritual or material. You cannot have two. That is the greatness of this process. Even this process, what it does is, it not only gives spiritual desires, it uproots all the material desires. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. We are not aspiring just for liberation. We are aspiring for pure devotion. When we aspire for pure devotion, liberation naturally comes. It is in the doorstep. A sadhaka doesn't have to aspire for liberation. A sadhaka has to aspire for pure devotion, and which comes only through being absorbed in the spiritual process. This is what Srila Prabhupada wanted to give us. He really wanted to be us, he really wanted to see us pure sadhaka. A sadhaka has to be free from lust, greed, anger, envy, false ego, pride. Pride, pride. We do not want that. Those are all anarthas. Anarthas means what? Unwanted things. Unwanted things do not take us anywhere. See, Hiranyaksha, they had unwanted desires. They want to control, they want to lord this universe. These are all against the principles of Krishna consciousness. So, that doesn't mean that if our spiritual desire which we have, that doesn't mean that it has to be fulfilled. Right? Fulfilling is in the hands of the Lord. It is not in the hand, it is not in my hands. I need to give him also independence. Just like he is giving me independence, he also has his independence. Even though we agree to that or not, that doesn't matter. That independence is always there. Whoever realizes this, Prabhu, he will release the process of Krishna consciousness. He will relish. Because he has desires, but his desires are not against the desires of the Lord. That's what happened for Hiranyakashipu. His desire was against the desire of the Lord. What is his desire? He wants to become Lord. Just see the desire. So even in this material world, we might not have the desire which Hiranyakashipu had, but we have small desires, which is also against the desire of the Lord. That is a core reason of not perceiving the heart to the deep. So to your point, with what attitude we need to stay or take association or to stay in the temple is this attitude. Every moment, Prabhu, because we don't know when our last moment of our life is. Do I have any idea? Do any of the devotees on the call have any idea? We do not have any idea. So that's why every moment should be done for their pleasure. For example, we are sleeping for half an hour. We should sleep this half an hour for his pleasure. Because after I wake up, I'm active. I can work for 4-5 hours more. Actively serving the Lord, serving the Acharyas. And then afterward, then I'll take rest again for 4-5 hours. Again, that rest, why am I taking? For his pleasure. Then I get up for Mangalarti. Do Mangalarti for whose pleasure? His pleasure. Then I chant my rounds. For whose pleasure? His pleasure. Even while chanting, I will tell, my dear Lord, this is only for your pleasure. My dear spiritual master, you have given me this. Arey, I'm a useless person. I do not know anything. My dear Lord, you have given me. I cannot speak. My dear Lord, you have given me this intelligence to speak. Who am I? You can remove my intelligence just like this. Intelligence gone. When Krishna removes intelligence, then what happens? What can we discuss? We cannot discuss, cannot understand, cannot perceive. So, my dear Lord, you have given me this. You have kept me in this situation. Let me accept this. Let me do this for the best of my ability. Let me serve you to the best of my ability. I don't know when my last day will come. I'm not worried about that. My only worry is I cannot serve you diligently. This is a prayer of Srila Prabhupada actually. Srila Prabhupada said, my dear Lord, you can put me in any turbulence, any situation, that doesn't matter. Because you are the controller of everything. You know what I have to receive. Because you are my master. But I have one desire, my dear Lord. And also this desire is also in your hands. You can fulfill this or not. That is in your hands. But I have one desire. Please always give me this opportunity to be the servant of the servant of the servant. Please give me this opportunity. Please give me this opportunity so that I can always remember you, that I am your eternal servant. Please give me this opportunity so that I can always serve my spiritual master. That is his mode. That is the driving force. And this is deep. The more we perceive this, the more we have this consciousness, the more we develop this consciousness, the more we hear, the more we meditate on this, then what happens? Naturally, our time will be engaged in right way. Naturally, it will happen. So that 2 hour chanting in the morning will be the most blissful experience. Because that is the key. Because what is this chanting all about, Prabhu? It's all about our consciousness, right? For example, if I'm sleeping, if I have sleepy consciousness, then that sleepy consciousness is coming in chanting. For example, if I want to control other person, if I want to control my wife or my daughter or my son or my grandson, that controlling mentality will also come into my consciousness. That controlling mentality will also come into the chanting. Then that means while chanting, I'm controlling. Who am who am I? Who am I to control the other person? Whom can I control? But we think that we are controlling. So that is also coming in the chanting. Right? So slowly, all the anarthas which are there in the consciousness, they drive our consciousness. So they drive the chanting. We are not chanting. They drive the chanting. So through their driving, what they do, they give so many thoughts in while chanting. All these thoughts, what are they doing? They're keeping us away from the process. And then when all these thoughts do come in the consciousness while chanting, then there is no taste in the chanting. Then what happens? When we say, "Arey yaar, chanting kaam nahi kar raha yaar. This chanting is not working. Let me just put this chanting aside. Arey, I am wasting 2 hours every day. Why? Because it's no taste in the heart, no desire. Because what is driving our anarthas are driving the chanting. It is not our sincere desire to chant Hare Krishna. That is not driving. The anarthas are driving. Mind will tell this, do this. Mind will tell do that. Even through chanting only, everything, all thoughts will come. When we are not chanting, these things will not come. When we have this kind of consciousness, then do we think that we'll go to the spiritual world? That's why we need to update. We need to upgrade. Everyone upgrades their phone, right? Cell phone. Android 10 to Android 11, Android 11 to 14. We need to upgrade our consciousness. Krishna consciousness. Upgrading our consciousness will only help us do this process in a much more diligent way. And unless and until we do this process in a diligent way, we cannot perceive the truth. I repeat again, unless and until we do this process diligently, dear devotees, we cannot perceive this truth. That is a fact. We need to develop good relationships. Otherwise, no. Krishna consciousness will not work. It's to come from the heart. अरे you do anything, कुछ भी करो, मगर दिल से करो. Let us do with the heart. Let us do with the heart. Our chanting or hearing, let us do diligently. Let us put full efforts. My dear Lord, let me do this fully because you gave me this. You gave me this intelligence. You're the source for everything. Let me put full efforts. Then, not just in temple, even in how, even in even at our house, also we will put these efforts. We will not waste a moment. Because 15th March 2025, today's discussion will not come again. It's gone. Our next discussion will be after this. That's it. It's gone. We cannot bring that back. That's why Prabhupada says, use this time very, 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 very diligently. That's what we need to perceive. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vinod Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hope I gave some. Amma, Hare Krishna. Pranita Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Wonderful,
Pranam Mataji.
wonderful class. The way you explain everything with this patience and with all the examples and in details. Really want to appreciate it. I wanted, how should I put this? So I have a 21-year-old son, and he sat with us yesterday and asked us some questions about our spiritual life. I would request you to kindly tell me what should be a right way of putting this for him. He thinks my brother is a brahmachari. So recently we were in Pune, and he says that Mama was saying that so many kids they want to become brahmachari. Mom, ISKCON is a cult because they don't want you to live like everyone else. They want you to live like in a certain way. Mom, you are being brainwashed because whenever we went to Barcelona, wherever we went, you were looking for ISKCON temples. We go to India, you want to visit ISKCON. You cannot eat anywhere. You cannot eat at everyone's place. Like you don't. Mom, they want you to be totally a different person and not like others. Christianity is so simple. You don't have to do anything. You just go to church on Sunday. I was like, and so many things. And like Prabhu, he was taking poor examples. Like in our Bhakti Vriksha, there's a family where this Prabhu took initiation, Brahman initiation, and then they are about they might get divorced. Like they are really fighting. Prabhu doesn't engage Mataji. He just does whatever he wants, and Mataji is frustrated. She came over one day and she told everything. He overheard. So he is like, he's concerned that we are putting us, like my husband and me, we are also heading into, we might end up being there. And he is very concerned about us, Prabhu.
Please tell.
So, what is the best way with with our tiny intelligence? I'm just trying to make sure he is not listening. So, with our tiny intelligence, we answered. My husband and I, we sat down and he's very.
Your husband is also practicing.
Pardon me, Prabhu.
So your husband is also practicing Krishna consciousness?
Yeah. Yes, he does. So,
Nice.
but how can we answer his questions without hurting him? I told him like you can talk to Mama directly, but he doesn't want to. He says no, Mom. There a few poor incidents that happened in front of him, and he thinks that we are like ISKCON is brainwashing people. They don't want people to young kids, especially young boys, to they are putting scriptures in such a way that young kids are being taken away from their families. They don't want to work. They all want to become brahmacharis, stay in the temple. So they are, and Mom, that's why I don't want to come to temple because I don't want to be brainwashed. I think Christians are better. They don't do all these things. And so I said, okay, why we talked for some time, and I said, you relax now, just go to sleep, and we'll talk tomorrow. So if you could give me some some suggestions where I could, put this in a better way.
Hare Krishna. Really so sorry to hear that this is what I told in the class also at the beginning of the discussion. Krishna consciousness has to be given in the right way. If Krishna consciousness is not given in right way, it will explode. That means it has to be exploded in right way. But in this case, it is exploding in a wrong way, which is a problem. I'm so sorry to hear that, and also to the devotees who are getting divorced. I'm so sorry for them, because it's again, the process has to be taken under right guidance. To be honest with all of you, I have seen through my life, I've seen through personal examples in my other devotees' lives. This has to be taken under right association. It's key. I know one of my practicing devotees. I don't want to tell names, but so sad, so sad. They practice this process for many years, and then they let go. Amma, in our culture, we say Amma for Mataji. So I hope you are okay. So Amma, what happens is the respect which we are giving through the words of Amma or through Mataji, Prabhuji, these are all divine. Prabhu means what? He's a master. This is the mode we approach the other person. See, it is so sad that Christianity has been brought up here. See, all these rules and regulations, they're not actually rules and regulations. All these have to be done through devotion, through relationship, through love. These are not like I'm forcing you to do this. No. Krishna consciousness is not a forceful process. Krishna consciousness is a loving process. We cannot force the other person. I cannot force you, or you cannot force me. Likewise, I cannot force your son to practice, or your son cannot force me to practice. It doesn't work like that. So the first thing we need to understand is this is a natural process which is done voluntarily. See, if we actually see, surrender is a natural process. Arjuna surrendered naturally to Krishna. It is not like Krishna forced Arjuna. Do we ever see that Krishna forcing anyone? No. Arjuna voluntarily accepted and then he fought the battle. He killed all his family members because he realized that this is the best which I need to do. Because he was trained up in that way. Then he perceived. He trained up. So likewise, Amma, this process of Krishna consciousness is a training process. It is not like I know so many of my close family members, they do not come to the process because they know all the rules and regulations. Because I practice them, so they know, right? This is a problem in the family, right? They first will know the rules and regulations, and then they will, because the first you know the rules and regulations. अरे यार ये पूरा छोड़ना है, ये 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 खाना है, ये खाना है, 16 माला चैंटिंग करना है, ये सब करना है. अरे यार I can't do all of this. अरे ये बाद में आते हैं यार. First understand what Krishna consciousness is. First we need to understand, we need to spend some time. What is this process? Who is this? Who Krishna is? What is my relationship with him? And everything else comes later. But first, only if you know everything, then you'll compare this. Whatever we have seen, that is what we'll compare to Christianity or other places. Yes, obviously, Christianity doesn't have all these things. You can play around, you can do whatever you want, right? But Krishna consciousness, this principle should come later, not now, not at the beginning. So this is a problem actually. So how do we correct this? We need to give love. We need to give relationship with them. We need to give them good association. We need to ask them to hear. We need to ask them to join. We can discuss some time, because this is important. For example, I'll tell another thing. And we also should be like that. For example, if we are not practicing diligently, for example, scripture says that uh, we should eat only Krishna Prasad. But we are not doing it. We are not doing it. For example, we say Krishna consciousness, and then we go and eat in the restaurant. And then somebody else would watch us eating at restaurant. And he is also practicing Krishna consciousness. Then what kind of inspiration or motivation we are giving to him? I'm just giving an example. Because what is happening is the faith is getting disturbed. When the faith gets disturbed, this is what happens. Otherwise, kids naturally they have soft-hearted. They have soft-heartedness. They're simple at their heart. Then, but what happens? The faith is getting disturbed. And then they see that, oh, this is a cult. They're taking away all these people. But actually, this is a sampradaya which is given by the Lord Himself directly. It is directly coming from Krishna. Directly coming from the Lord. It's not a cult. It's pure science. It's pure devotional service. This is a source for everything, actually. That means eternally, whatever relationship we have, that we are receiving it from this Guru Parampara. How fortunate are we? It is not a cult. It's been there since eternity. Imam vivasate aham proktamam aham avyam evam parampara praptam imam rajarsayo viduhu sakalene hamata yoga nashta parantapa. This science of Krishna consciousness is broken. It was given to Sun God millions of years back. And now Arjuna, it is broken, so I'm telling you again. Please accept this. That's how the science is coming. Christianity came only 1500 years ago, which doesn't have any roots. Because in that, it's okay to do anything. You can eat meat, you can do nonsense, and still you can go and then worship. What kind of love is that? You're killing another person. What kind of love is that? Do we see any compassion manifesting in the heart? If I begin go killing the other living entities, or if I go eat other living entities, it doesn't help. What kind of process is that? It's a process, but that process is only at one level. This is a top notch, Mataji. This is a top notch thing which is given to us. Top thing. There is nothing higher other than Krishna consciousness in this entire creation. Because it is presented by the Lord Himself. Top notch thing. But slowly and steadily, see, Amma, this is when heart is filled with uh, the bad perceptions of the mission of the moment, this is the reason of leaving the moment. Why people would leave the moment? They come to the moment, why they would leave? This is the reason actually.
Yeah,
Because
because the Mataji and Prabhuji that might get divorced, their sons are his friends. And he is really disturbed because of that. Like they are getting divorced just because he's being brainwashed and Mataji doesn't agree with him. So yeah.
it's a problem. So this is the thing. That is the reason why we should always have sadhu sangha. We cannot say that I got initiated, I'm done, or I'm in the process of initiation, I'm done, or I did Bhakti Shastri, I'm done, or I did Bhakti Vaibhav course, I'm done. No, this is a continuous process. One has to take continuous association. Through continuous association only, there is a check and balance of the heart. What my heart is telling. See, this is all due to all these problems. Why? Do you know, Mataji? There's one reason why all these problems are coming. The one reason is we don't know who our spiritual master is. We don't know who Srila Prabhupada is. Because we never read his books. That is one of the primary reasons of all these problems. And we do not want to have right association. It's a problem actually. So from our side, we can pray for their families so that they stay together and then continue the process. And then from other side, we need to have another consciousness that we need to pray for our child that he is protected.
I lied to him. I just said that everything is gonna work out. Other devotees are helping them out and counseling them. It might not happen. Situations have. Is that okay? I just lied. I just made up because he was so disturbed. I was like, it will at least save him from falling apart because of that.
So Mataji, we should always pray and give our son good association. We should sit with them and then read proper books. We should sit with them and then discuss. We should give him good association. Ask him to join. Ask him to hear. And then slowly, the heart will be transformed. Because Krishna is so merciful. From our side, we need to put an endeavor and move forward. Because if our endeavors are not right, then it will not help. From our side, we need to do our best and then give and try to give him the best consciousness and move forward.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you all very much. If I caused an
Yeah, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you
yes.
so much, Prabhuji. I don't have any question, but thank you so much for explaining this verse so nicely and explaining the importance of devotee association. Like Pranita Mataji, thank you so much for this question also, because most of the kids this generation, they think like this. So yes, Mataji, and thank you for your answer, Prabhuji. The devotee association is the key, but sometimes. The kids like this, it's very hard to bring them to the temple or the listen the classes, but yeah, usually the Gaur Gopal Prabhu's short clips are very helpful, and Gaurang Prabhu's short clips are there. Those are very they tell the philosophy in very funny way or very easy way, so that helps, Mataji. Yeah.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Also, Amog Leela Prabhu is also very good.
Yes, Amoglila Prabhu too, yes.
Yeah, and what I know, खग जाने खग की भाषा ऐसे रामायण में बोला जाता है। तो जो जिस एज में है उसकी एज की लैंग्वेज बोलनी पड़ती है। हम ये 63 ईयर ओल्ड और 65 ईयर ओल्ड अगर 21 की लैंग्वेज नहीं बोल पाते कई बार, तो उसी लेवल के जो ये जो अमोघ लीला प्रभु और जो आपने बताया वो उसी लेवल की बात करते हैं, तो उनसे बहुत ज्यादा यूथ कनेक्ट होते हैं।
Yes, Prabhuji. And also Jai Shetty, he's also very like famous nowadays.
Yes.
So Mataji, you can give him his clips or like that. He can listen those clips. He's our god brother too, Jai Shetty. So he's following Radhanath Swami. So many people, they are following him. So youth, yeah.
Oh, I listen to Jay Shetty every day, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. So, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I didn't know. I didn't know he was our godbrother. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. He's from UK, yeah. Okay, Prabhuji, if nobody has any question or comments, we can end up the call here. And thank you, Aarti and Mohan Prabhu. Those devotees joined first time. They're from Marathi Mandal. I posted this your classes post on our Marathi community WhatsApp group. So they joined first time. So let's welcome Aarti and Mohanji by 3 times chanting in our traditional way. Hari Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
So Aarti and Mohan Prabhu, hope you enjoyed this class and view your association every day or at least Saturday, Sunday. So Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much,
Mataji.
Prabhuji,
Neelganj
for a very
Prabhuji, thank you for your wonderful class.
wonderful class. Very
Yeah.
practical. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, the key takeaway from your class, Neelganj Prabhu, I can say, which explained very nicely about the association. So that is the key point which we can remember. Like even when we were in the schools, or when we are entering to the colleges, at that time our parents is to make sure that we get a good association. So it is the same thing, like because otherwise our father is angry if we are mixing with different groups. So our parents, so it is coming from our roots. So I think it is very, very, very essential in this age of Kali Yuga. I can say one has to have a good association. And I think going further, like association, and then automatically it will bring up, because nowadays from our children's only we come to know in US, when our kids go out, they spend their most of the time outside because of the college schools. What happens then, they have that bigger impact from the outside world, which is not conscious. And that's the reason, like on the weekends or on the day end when they come home, that time it has to be reverse way. I think that will definitely help. Yeah, it's a really good uh, thing what you gave today in today's class. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Nice to hear you every time. Hare Krishna.
Really, so one more important aspect is the more when we cultivate this process to the heart, the more we can understand and absorb. Because anything which we do with the heart, we remember that for a period of time. Because we know with what intention and with what attitude we are doing it, we need to just put them in action. So a 20-year-old or 30-year-old or a 40-year-old, everyone has their own desires. Everyone has their own way or will of seeing this world. That naturally comes through because they have their own way to see things. So if we perceive, or if we know their heart on a deeper level, then it becomes a natural process. Just like Aarti Mataji and Mohan Prabhu came today, right? So they felt like, let us try to hear and then try to understand. So Krishna consciousness is a simple process if we are simple. All it requires is simplicity. If we are simple, we can take up this process very diligently.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just wanted to add here is that today's youth, I mean, if we, look at it from a practical point of view, let's not box it in a Krishna consciousness, but life in general. Today, children have a lot of aspirations. They want to be successful sometimes too soon. But if you tell them that, see, there is no happiness in the person who has everything.
What is the reason? I mean, you see around all these successful musicians, actors, so many of them are so unhappy. And, putting this little seed in them that if you pursue it, of course, career is important and all that. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to be happy, and that happiness cannot come from materialistic things. I mean, steer them gradually towards it rather than putting it in Krishna consciousness, because maybe they get scared that they have to leave this, leave that, and do bhakti. But first put in that little in their minds that happiness is not in this material world, and a very gradual way. And sadhu sangat, of course, as you said, will help. But I think I don't.
Actually, Geeta Mataji, to your point, what you said, uh, if a person, if that a youth person has to come to the process, and what is the best way is by giving them relationship, not just youth, to everyone. If one gets that relationship, and then if that person is feeling that love and affection through that relationship, then he'll take up any process, not just Krishna consciousness. He will take up any process.
That
That
is
is the
true,
key aspect.
Prabhuji. Yeah, I agree. But like if there are certain traits in a person that he admires, like, I mean, if I can just say some, like I see my husband, he is an IT guy, and he respects people I've noticed that are very academic and who are not materialistic and stuff. So it took him a long time, but when in that sadhu sangat you put them across people who have similar traits, and they are so happy in that in the spiritual world, then they quickly get associated with them.
Correct. Definitely. See, most of them in US are like either software or doctor, right? So it becomes a natural process if those examples are used. And see, it even to hear also, one requires that, at least, अरे मुझे मालूम है ये, let me hear from him. I know this person. I know how he is. Let me try to hear. So that relationship has to be established. When that is established, Mataji, then the process becomes a natural process. Because it's only through natural state only one can do everything. Unnatural state we cannot do. It should come to the natural state. And that comes through, again, as I said, right? See, Srila Prabhupada felt that relationship with his spiritual master. Or all the acharyas, they feel that relationship. So that is the core crux. Because if I can put in the shoes of the teenager, that means putting in the shoes of the teenager means knowing his heart. If that person knows the heart of that particular person, then what happens? It becomes, for example, you go to the doctor, right? And then doctor is diseased. Not doctor, the patient is diseased. If the doctor knows really where the problem is, then it's easy for him to cure. So likewise, if we put, that's the reason why I said, right, to Pranita Mataji, that we should spend time with our kids, because we can discuss or hear this for 1 hour or 2 hours and then we go. But if we spend time with them diligently, giving them love, affection, then what happens? Naturally, they will also have respect towards us. And then naturally, whatever we do, they will also try to do that. Like you remember kids, like when we are like 2-year-old, 3-year-old kids, I see, when father is offering obeisances, so many kids come to New Vrindavan, so many practitioners come to New Vrindavan. When father is doing obeisances, son will also do obeisances. So he does it naturally because he has that affection and bonding. The problem what happens is the affection and bonding which is there during the early days, that is gone after a few days, few years. I mean, after 10, 15, 20, because they have seen the wider exposure of this world and they think that that is far more better than this motherly affection or parently affection. That's the reason kids tend to stray away from the process. But if somebody can cultivate that, if somebody can maintain that, then that is the greatest thing actually.
Yeah,
Then
Prabhu.
this thing will come. Yes, Pranita Matas.
Yeah, one more thing he said yesterday was, Mom, when I'm with my friends, I defend ISKCON. But when I'm with you, I can open up and tell you actually what bothers me, like the brahmacharis at Mama's ashram and then
Correct,
his
correct, correct,
family. So I want to understand this. That was his, and I want
correct.
to make sure that I give him whatever I tell him. It is like if you tell me something, I know it is like coming from a pure devotee, and there is. I won't have any concerns in my head that I have said
Correct,
anything.
correct.
Yeah, that was the
So
reason I
Mataji,
wanted to open up.
so Mataji, that was the reason why I said, right? It is so important to really understand. So you brought up a very important aspect because your son cannot speak those things to anyone. He will only speak to you because you have a relationship with him. He will not open up to everyone. So that is the reason what I said, right? If he develops a relationship with a Vaishnava in the way which he has developed with you, then his life is perfected. That I guarantee. You see what I'm saying? He has to open up. And that will come, that will not happen just within a day or two. It will come through a natural process. When he gets that association, Mataji, he'll be happy. He should have one person in his life whom he can trust and then share his heart. That is the secret of success, actually. That is the secret inside the secret in Krishna consciousness. This has to happen. So slowly, slowly try to groom him more and more. Discuss both together. Discuss pastimes. Try reading Leela Amrita together. You and your son. Discuss. Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Discuss that. Understand. Just see how Srila Prabhupada took so much trouble. He gave his life. This is not just a cult. This is a perfect science of Krishna consciousness. This is a beautiful process. It is not just a cult. Prabhupada is so selfless. Nothing was done in his life for selfish endeavor. And if a person is selfless, he is always truthful to his heart. You can see this things, beautiful science. Who has done that? Who has done like this? Nobody has done like this. And then that faith and conviction on the process increases more and more. Then he will desire for more association. It opens up. That's the key. We should always remember our acharyas and then their glories. That is our heart and soul. That is our heart and soul. Srila Prabhupada has done so much. Just imagine if Srila Prabhupada didn't come to West, what's going to happen to all of us? Just imagine one thing. If Srila Prabhupada didn't come to West. I'm not telling anything else. If Srila Prabhupada didn't come to West, that's it. There's nothing. If Srila Prabhupada would have thought, I preached, I did my best, but things did not work out. I cannot do this. Srila Prabhupada would have thought like that. There's no moment. We should be ever grateful. So when we know this, then we aspire to take their association more and more. Then I know why am I doing this? I know I'm sitting here. I know why am I sitting here. I have the clarity. That's a service to my spiritual master. As simple as that. That's it. I have no 24 agendas. I have no 48 rules or principles. I have only one agenda to please my spiritual master. That's it. To please Srila Prabhupada. That's it. There's nothing else actually. When this is developed into our consciousness, Then we put full efforts. Arey, Srila Prabhupada has done so much. What can I do for him? Arey, my son is like this. Srila Prabhupada has given me so much. Vaishnavas have given me so much. Let me do this for their pleasure. And then we make immense progress. And when we become genuine, Amma, when we become genuine to the heart, our kids will understand that. I write it down again. I repeat again. When we are genuine to the process, our kids will become genuine. When we are not watching unnecessary things, they will also observe them. And when we are doing unnecessary things, they will also do those unnecessary things. I remember I personally seen so many examples. I remember one time, I will give this one example and then I'll stop. I remember one time, one of the senior Vaishnava was sharing. He was telling that a child came to him and then inquiring, "Oh, dear devotee," he's telling, "Prabhu, this is what is happening. I'm 13 years old and do I have to chant while watching the TV?" Then the devotee started asking why this thing came into your heart. And then he said, "My mom and dad, they all does like this. They both chant watching TV every day. They put on their beats, they start watching the TV, and then they also chant Hare Krishna. I thought this is the way to do. That is why I was asking." Then he told a beautiful thing, which I'm remembering again and again. He said, if the way how we practice, that is what it is given to us. If we practice the process in this way, we will teach them also in this way. Very important. What we see, we do. What we see, what we do, we give. Right? If I do this, then I give that. For example, if we have love, affection towards our acharyas, towards the Lord, then what do we do? What do we give? We give that. That's it. This is what we should do. We need to cultivate that, and then we need to give to our kids. They'll be happy. They will not lose the faith in the process. Actually, matter of fact, they will gain the faith. Then they will make progress in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. I think I took little over today. Please excuse. I hope Pranita Mataji that is okay.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much. Really appreciate your wonderful explanation and all the time. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Please take this to the heart more and more. Krishna will be immensely pleased. Immensely pleased. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for your blessings and prayers, Prabhu Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Fine. My
Hare
prayers and
Krishna.
best wishes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you to all devotees.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you all very much.
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada
Ki
ki
jai.
Ciao, Kalpataru,
कृपासिन्धुश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमस्ते दास ठाकुर की जय।
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की
Ki
जय।
jai.
His Grace नील गोविंद दास की जय।
Jai.
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 So much Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Next Saturday will be verse 9, right, Prabhuji?
Amma,
Next Saturday?
next Saturday, yeah, verse 9 months.
Yes. Okay.
Hare
Verse
Krishna.
9 or verse. One second. Yeah, verse 9. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You
Hare
are
Hare Bol.
Hari
Hare
bol.
Bol.
Hari bol. Hari bol.
Hare.
done.
Hare Krishna.
Marathi Mandal.